sa ating lahat. Welcome po sa ating 27th Kapihang OH online edition. This is a monthly session, Kapihang OH, where we tackle the latest updates in the field of occupational safety and health. I hope everyone is safe and healthy wherever you are right now. Kami po dito sa Philippine College of Occupational Medicine, Quezon City Chapter, ay nagagalak na napaunlakan niyo kami muli ng inyong oras para makinig at matuto sa diskusyon natin ngayong gabi. Ako po ang inyong host at moderator, Dr. Margo Venus Dasalyaku, Public Relations Officer ng PCOM QCC. Welcome back to Kapihang OH. Thank you for tuning in this 2021. Ngayong gabi ay tatalakayin po natin ang tungkol sa isa sa mga napapanahon na topic ngayong gabi, ventilation against COVID-19. This webinar will be discussing about DOLE Department Order 224 Series 2021 entitled Guidelines on Ventilation for Workplaces and Public Transport to Prevent and Control the Spread of COVID-19. To welcome us all sa ating 27th Kapihang OH, ladies and gentlemen, our PCOM Quezon City Chapter President, Dr. Catherine Artais Cariaga.
Magandang gabi po sa inyong lahat na aming tagapanood at tagapagsubaybay mula sa iba't ibang sulok ng Pilipinas at sa labas ng bansa. Sa aming kapamilya sa Philippine College of Occupational Medicine, mga kapuso sa Occupational Safety and Health at kapatid sa propesyon ng kalusugan. Isang mainit na pagtanggap mula po sa amin na bumubuo ng PCOM Quezon City Chapter. Mahigit isang taon na din ang lumipas. Ngunit patuloy pa ding namamayagpag ang pandaigdigan krisis ng COVID-19. Patuloy pa din tayong nakikibaka sa bantang dulot nito. Sa nakalipas na ilang linggo, patuloy nang tumataas at dumadami ang kaso sa nakakamatay na sakit na ito. Ang gobyerno, sa pakikipagtulungan ng iba't ibang sangay na lipunan, ay patuloy na nakikipag-ugnayan sa mga mamamayang Pilipino para maghatid ng kaalaman bilang pananggalang sa problemang ito. Madaming polisiya na ang nakalatag at patuloy na pinatutupad para sa kabutihan at kaligtasan ng lahat. Ganun pa man, kahit may bakuna na maaring kasagutan sa pandemyang ito, patuloy pa ding pinababatid sa lahat ang maigting na pag-iingat, ang susi para malagpasan ang pagsubok na ito. Bilang kasangga at kabalikat ng Healthcare Professionals Alliance Against COVID-19, pagkatandaan ng paalala, 4 dapat. A. For air circulation. P. Para sa physical distancing. A. Always wear your face mask and face shield. At T. Para 30 minutes interaction or less. Kaya po ngayong gabi, kami po ay lubos na nalulugod dahil kasama po natin ang isa na namang eksperto sa larangan na ito para talakayin ang isa sa 4 sa ating ika-27 kapihan on ventilation against COVID-19. Maraming salamat at magandang gabi po muli sa inyong lahat.
Thank you, Dr. Catherine Artais Cariaga. Ladies and gentlemen, my dearest colleagues, and to our all beloved guests from all sectors of workforce, we are very honored at napaunlakan tayo ng ating panauhing pandangal ngayong gabi. To introduce our distinguished guest tonight, when we call our chapter CME Chairperson, Dr. Maria Cecilia Caiga Dayana.
Magandang gabi po sa inyong lahat. Our speaker for tonight is a registered mechanical engineer by profession. He received his baccalaureate degree in mechanical engineering at the Technological University of the Philippines. He also has a master's degree in business administration. Previously, he was the Emergency Services and Safety Compliance Unit Responder at the Travelers International Hotel Group Incorporated. At present, he is an Industrial Hygienist III of the Environment Control Division and the concurrent designated Safety Officer of the Occupational Safety and Health Center. My dear colleagues in Occupational Safety and Health, I now give you Engineer Raymark R. Fernando.
So, good evening, everyone. Good evening. I hope all of you are doing great, no, this evening. No, nakakain na po ba kayo ng inyong dinner? So, let me just check my slide. So, thank you very much po for that introduction po, Dr. Diana. So, to prepare my slide, I'll just be sharing po. Okay. All right. So, good evening po again. No? So, my topic for this evening is regarding the guidelines on the ventilation for workplaces and public transport to prevent and control the spread of COVID-19. You know, with the efforts of the Department of Labor and Employment and with works, no, together with other institutions, no, respectable institutions that created this Department Order 224 series of 2021. Okay. So let's try to make it layman's for everyone, no? Kasi at least since this is a topic for regarding ventilation and to ensure lang syempre na at least all of you can absorb, no, the information regarding this department order. So okay, I'll just be prepare my pointer. Yan. Okay. So Section 1 of the Department Order 224-21, which is the Rationale. So as part of the continuing efforts of the government to prevent and control spread of COVID-19 at the workplace, and cognizant of the large amount of working time indoors, and in poorly ventilated space and in compliance and or supplement to the Republic Act 11058 and its IRR, which is DOLE Department Order 198-18, and the Occupational Safety and Health Standards of the Philippines, Section 2B, Item number 5 of the DTI DOLE Joint Memorandum Circular, which was released on year 2020, no, -4-A, and Department of Health Department Memorandum Circular 2020-0429, adequate ventilation should be strictly enforced inside the workplace as a preventive measure against the spread of COVID-19 virus. So this rationale was again in compliance with other safety and health protocols na we should have ventilation as a part of our engineering controls. Okay, so ventilation is an engineering control. Now, the coverage of this department order is for all commercial and industrial establishments, projects, sites, and all other places where work is being undertaken indoors. So this focuses only for indoor workplaces, and this shall not, however, cover healthcare facilities, since healthcare facilities requires special considerations in the control of COVID-19. So majority of these guidelines, no, is focusing only for indoor establishments, and it can be either industrial or commercial or even residential. So the part na in this residential, let's try to give some information that, but it focuses on the commercial and industrial establishments. Okay, so bago tayo magsimula, we'll be just discussing or pahapayawan natin yung definition of terms na ito. So first of the definition of terms is the air change per hour, which is the airflow to a space expressed as the volume per unit time divided by the volume of spaces. So this is very important in calculating po how efficient our ventilation system is. Next is carbon dioxide, so which refers to the colorless gas formed by breakdown of burning of animal or plant matter and by act of breathing, and may be as commonly used as a surrogate indicator for assessing indoor air quality and ventilation efficiency. So more on the concentration ng carbon dioxide po. Contaminants refers to airborne contaminants such as dust and other particulate matters. Cubic feet per minute, which is can be expressed mathematically or mechanically in CFM, refers to the unit of measurement for volume flow rate of air, and this corresponds to a specific volume of air flowing through a channel per minute. Okay, this is the amount of air, no, volume of air that is being distributed by our ventilating fans. Okay. So enclosed spaces are areas that have means of entry or exit, surrounded by walls and ceilings and designated or designed for continuous occupancy. No, it may or may not have windows that could be freely opened, and this may include but are not limited to meeting rooms, conference halls, ballrooms, churches, etc. So anything na workplaces not surrounded by walls can be classified as enclosed spaces. Now, general ventilation refers to the flow of air into and out of a working area to dilute any contaminants by providing additional fresh or natural air. Okay. So general ventilation can be provided through natural or mechanical means. So as what we have learned in our basic occupational safety and health, no? Dilution ventilation through natural or mechanical means or both should be considered as the primary engineering control. So, and ventilation conditions can be evaluated through the measurement of air change per hour and carbon dioxide. Okay, so natural ventilation refers to a supply of fresh air in a building and air is removed from an indoor space without any mechanical means. Okay. And siyempre, kung merong natural, meron po tayong mechanical, which is refers to the use of mechanical systems such as fans and often involves heating, ventilation, and air conditioning units or systems to supply or provide fresh air and even extract contaminated air. So ano po ba yung HVAC na sinasabi natin? No? It is the technology of indoor and vehicular environment comfort. Its goal is to provide thermal comfort and acceptable indoor air quality. Okay. High efficiency particulate air filters, no, which is commonly called as the HEPA filters, is an air filter device that has an efficiency of 99.97% filtration of particles up to 0.3 microns ang kaya po niyang i-filter out. And local air conditioning unit refers to window type, ceiling mounted, floor mounted, split type, and other cooling system, no, that dehumidifies and recirculates indoor air inside a workroom. Okay. Now, local exhaust ventilation refers to a mechanical system that use or to control contaminants by trapping them or at near the source. So the objective of local exhaust ventilation is to prevent the highly contaminants before it reaches the worker's breathing zone. So it is designed to capture an emitted contaminant at or near its source before the contaminant has a chance to disperse into the workplace. Okay. Minimum efficiency reporting value, or most commonly called as the MERV, is a classification of air filtration device based on their efficiency to filter particulates. Now, meron din po tayong objectionable air draft, which refers to the very high or too much air movement directed towards the worker. So this is a disturbing type of air velocity. And open air spaces are areas that allow free air movement from all directions and may be covered by a roof, supported by a post, and not surrounded by walls. And this may include but are not limited to covered courts, covered walkways, gazebos, and etc. So these are places wherein freely po moving ang ating ventilations or natural ventilation. So other openings refers to other openings such as roof exhauster, roof ridge openings, louver openings or louvers, commonly called as louvers, or door openings. Anything po na can be opened are considered po as other openings. And qualified personnel refers to a company personnel that is knowledgeable and assigned by a management to conduct ventilation assessment. A sample of these are safety officers, industrial hygienists, facilities engineer or manager, and even HVAC contractors. Okay. And lastly po, ventilating fans refers to ceiling, wall, and pedestal fans. So these are the definition of terms that we may encounter po all throughout this department order. All right. So to start po, formally yung ating recommendations and strategies. So pasok po muna tayo sa part ng general ventilation. So general ventilation has different sections. So unahin po natin si non-air conditioned space. No? So ano po ba sinasabi natin dito sa non-air conditioned space? Una sa lahat, no? Sabi dito, maximize natural ventilation through the use of doors, windows, and other openings, if possible and safe to do so. So we have recommended that we should maximize, no? We should maximize all possible entries of fresh air. Okay? All possible of fresh air. Yun lang po is kung safe siya gawin or free siya from any contaminants, no? So we will not open, no? We will not open doors or windows kung meron po kayong na-encounter na possible na kunyari meron po tayong outdoor contaminants such as yung usok. So highly contaminated area po yung yung area natin. So hindi po siya advisable. Now, if in case po na ganun, no, sinasabi natin sa number 2, no, if natural ventilation is not feasible or is inadequate, no, fans and air conditioning systems to supply fresh and extracted contaminated air shall be used as mechanical ventilation. So we will opt to the natural to the mechanical type of ventilation. Okay, so ano ba yung mga ganitong klase? So we have HVACs na tinatawag dito that provides fresh air and fans that can distribute the airflow or the air velocity. Now, for dilution ventilation must be done through the use of exhaust fans. So dilution ventilation focuses on the extraction of contaminated air. And this contaminated air must have an air change of 6 to 12 air changes. So 6 to 12 air changes has been recommended by international institutions wherein they have found that these 6 to 12 air changes can maximize the dilution inside the workroom without any objectionable drafts, no, na may encounter ng ating workers inside the room. No? So while maximizing natural ventilation through the use of doors, windows, and other openings, and if possible and safe to do so. All right. So non-air conditioned workspace, so number 4, which is exhaust fan should be kept continuously open as much as possible. And this was taken from the DOH Department Memorandum, which is it says exhaust fans should be continually used or open. No? But this is to ensure that airflow is maintained. No, so as much as possible, we must prevent yung stale air na sinasabi na stale or stagnant air inside the workroom. So kaya it is advisable that we maximize the natural ventilation, which is our windows or doors, and provide exhaust fans inside our workrooms. No, so if the use of ventilating fans is unavoidable, no, so there are some instances or some work wherein due to the large area, no, kunyari nandun ka sa gitna ng isang malaking area, is kakailanganin mo talaga ng ventilating fan to ensure the thermal comfort ng isang worker. No? So if there is an instance of that kind of scenario, the increase of outdoor air changes by opening windows and other openings is suggested. No? So airflow direction should be considered in the layout of workstations to avoid person-to-person viral spread through airborne respiratory droplets. So ano pong ibig sabihin yan? No? It is suggested by this department order na kung kayo po is gagamit ng ventilating fan, it should be in a way na hindi po siya magkakaroon ng possibility to spread some aerosols or even yung virus or viral spread na sinasabi natin through airborne respiratory droplets. So it means that you should place the ventilating fan in a clean air, in a cleaner side of a room or in a space, cleaner side of the space, and should have a flow, no, a flow to the less cleaner side. So what does that mean, no? So it would be better kung ilagay niyo po yung ventilating fans natin sa area na kung saan freely po, no, makaka-receive siya ng fresh air to deliver fresh air inside the workroom na kung saan kapag dumapo na po yung hangin sa ating mga workers can dilute, no, that area to outside air or to the outside air. So ito po yung ibig sabihin ng for the layout of workstations to avoid the person-to-person viral spread. Okay. Now, conduct weekly cleaning of windows and other openings and ventilating fans or as necessary. So again, cleaning or housekeeping and maintenance of each ventilating equipment or even the windows, no, is recommended to be weekly. So to ensure lang na this is properly kept, no, at the same time, pagdating sa ventilating equipments or ventilating fans, no, or nakalagay kasi dyan as necessary kasi it doesn't mean din na lagi mo rin sila silinisin, no? Lalo na kunyari HVAC. So HVAC which is on the air conditioned space, no? So mamaya siguro later on i-ano natin 'yon. Mas i-detalye natin siya. Okay. So for air conditioned space, no, for HVAC systems where outdoor air supply should conform to the recommended breathing zone rates for the purpose of general air dilution and thermal comfort. So ano po ba yung breathing zone ventilation rates? It is the value po that you can be seen sa Annex 2 po ng ating Department Order na kung saan it is the design of the room, no? It is the design of the room. So every establishment must comply with the design of the room as stated by the minimum ventilation rates that can be found in ASHRAE or even the Philippine Mechanical Code. Okay. So run the ventilation system at least 30 minutes before and after space are occupied. So according to studies, no, and as part of preventive measures, it is best to run the ventilation system 30 to 2 hours actually, 30 to 2 hours before and after the work has been done. But syempre, in terms of cost effectiveness, no, hindi siya gaanong effective for the 2-hour work period. So 30 minutes is the mostly minimum that can be offered to ensure that all stagnant air inside the workroom will be diluted. All right. So in workplaces that only have local air conditioning units, no, dilution ventilation may be done through the use of exhaust fans and filters MERV 13 or higher, no? MERV is again the filters, no? And this number corresponds to how tiny, no? Kung habang tumataas yung number, no, mas maliit na kaya niyang i-filter out, no? Or the HEPA filters, which is the best, no, the best filter out there, rating applicable to the unit may be installed. All right. So there are some ventilating equipments, no, there are local air conditioning units or even HVACs that can be adjusted, no, to these filters. So even MERV 13, no, or HEPA. Kasi most of the air conditioning units natin have a MERV of 4 to 8, no, 4 to 8. So most of these MERV can filter out dust particles, no, at that size, no, kasi habang tumataas yung number, mas maliit na particulates yung kaya niyang i-filter out. So the best one out there is the HEPA filters. Okay. Ensure that enough exhaust fans relative to the room volume are enough to have the required breathing zone minimum ventilation rates. No, but regarding this, no, we should take consideration din yung design of the HVAC or the local air conditioning units kasi not all can be partnered with this kind of filters. Kasi with this kind of filters, no, lalaki yung pressure drop ng ating equipment and this pressure drop can damage our equipment. So kapag hindi siya properly designed for that, then it's a no for providing this kind of filter. So we should take the advice of HVAC experts, no, or the technical teams of the brand you have bought, no, to ensure that this MERV 13 or higher can be adjusted, no, this can be adjusted to your system. So according to the DOH Department Memorandum for COVID, no, where ventilation is greatly recirculated or access to outside air is not feasible, filters such as HEPA filtration air purifiers can be used to clean recirculated air, no, provided that the unit is adequate for the size of the room in which it is installed in. So ensure the proper maintenance by the following manufacturer's recommendations of these devices. Okay. So actually, with regards to the recirculation, so it is greatly discouraged. No? Recirculation is greatly discouraged in terms of COVID-19. But if there is hindi natin maiiwasan yung pag-recirculate ng isang area, then you should have installed HEPA filtration air purifiers or HEPA filters with HEPA filtration with air purifiers. Okay, so keep the louvers of local air conditioning units in an upward position to prevent the air flowing from one person to another while observing minimum public health standards. Okay, or minimum public health protocols. So this defines also that since we are we are taking consideration the airflow as much as possible, we prevent the local air conditioning units na yung airflow niya will be transferred to other persons, no? So iwasan natin yung nakatutok, no? So kaya sabi natin dito, it is recommended to have an upward position wherein direkta po, no, palabas, no? Kasi kung in terms of the design of a room, ang ating mga exhaust fans kasi is located upward, right, no? So as much as possible from the air conditioning unit, no, ita-transfer natin yung movement ng air upwards. Okay? So why? Kasi since yung ating breathing, no, is considered as hot air, so tumataas din po yung yung ating mga parang if we can say as plumes, no? So from umakyat, so at least doon natin dinideliver yung push-pull type of ventilation system. All right. Frequent opening of windows, doors, and other openings may be done to supplement the mechanical ventilation system in achieving dilution. So it is best, no, to have a combination of natural and mechanical means to provide dilution inside the workroom. Okay. Establishments or establish a cleaning and maintenance program for mechanical systems and ensure that no molds or stagnant water will be circulated in the atmosphere. So filters must be changed when necessary and appropriate personal protective equipment must be worn by workers involved in cleaning and maintenance. So ano ba yung mga PPEs na to? It can be gloves, mask, and yung mask is mas maganda dyan kung N95 yung mga gagamit na mask. Now, what N95 is mostly being distributed sa ating front lines, no? So gloves, mask, and yung ating spectacles, eye spectacles. Again, kasi why? Again, these are droplets, no? These are droplets, but the possibility that the routes of exposure ng isang tao can be either in the form of skin contact, ingestion, and inhalation. All right. So as part of general strategies also, we consider also the use of the local exhaust ventilation. So for the local exhaust ventilation system, it shall have the basic components of hood, ductwork, air cleaning device, fans or blowers, and exhaust stack. So we should have these 5 basic components, and all installed LEV shall be equipped with a proper air cleaning device to treat and filter and minimize airborne contaminants being exhausted to the atmosphere. Now again, anything po na ilalabas natin from inside shall be treated, no, in accordance with the other standards, no, local standards that requires, no, that all outside dispersion of outside air should be treated. Okay, continuous operation of LEVs when workers are present, no, so this allows additional air change in the workplace, ensure that running hoods of LEVs are properly secured when not used during specific operation to avoid disruption. All right. So with the computation of the air changes, we also consider the use of LEVs. So LEVs can be added, no, to the computation of air changes since they provide or they suction out exhaust contaminated air inside the workroom, no, with the use of these basic components. Okay. So for restrooms and water closets, no, ensure exhaust fans in restroom facilities are functional and operating at full capacity when the building is occupied. So again, as what is stated earlier po, no, dapat ang exhaust fans natin should be working at full capacity, no? Kasi again, no, restrooms and water closets are areas wherein people meet each other, no? Kasi again, kung kayo is pupunta sa comfort room, no? And again, doon po kayo nagkikita, no? Kahit na sabihin natin hindi po kayo nagkikita within the office mo, the possibility of having contact with others is through the restrooms, no? And for this, no, when toilets or water closets are used, no, ensure that you close the toilet seat lid, no, before flushing, no? Why? There are some studies na kung saan sinasabi natin dito na anything na dinischarge ng isang tao can be factor in, no, na biological hazard. So still, this is with the consideration lang po with other hazards present to ensure that the air inside the restrooms are maintained to be clean. Okay. So do not use hand blowers or jet dryers as it contributes to the dispersion of potentially contaminated air inside the restroom. So ano po ba kasi ang purpose ng hand blowers and jet dryers? So they are equipments that give, no, large amount or sabihin natin mabilis na velocity. So these velocities can interrupt yung ating exhaust that can contribute to the dispersion of or the spread of the virus. Okay, kaya is highly discouraged, no? So actually hindi nga sinabing discouraged dito, do not use, no? This is just to ensure na hindi po nagkakaroon ng dispersion sa loob ng restrooms. Okay, for ventilation concerns for public transport naman, this was taken, no, from DOH memorandums and DOTR memorandums. So guided by the LTFRD Memorandum Circular 2020-061 series of 2020, so which is the updated health protocols for the PUVs, and the Department of Health Department Memorandum 2020-0429, so guidance on the ventilation for COVID mitigation, and the DTI DOLE JMC 20-04-A and DTI DOLE Advisory 20-03 series of 2020, they have provided these recommendations when you are using public transport. No? Una sa lahat, provide natural ventilation and access to open air. So with this, no, as you can remember sa ating DOLE Joint Memorandum Circular, no, it is recommended to have at least 3 inches of opening, no, sa isang sasakyan, no? Kasi with this, you are providing natural ventilation inside. So the accumulation of or the concentration inside the room or the cabin of the car is minimized. Okay. Avoid using recirculated air options for the vehicle ventilation during passenger transport. So again, ito kasi is like the local air conditioning unit wherein kung nagre-recirculate ang hangin, hindi po siya na filter out. So paulit-ulit lang din po, pinalalamig lang po yan. So the thing is, so dapat we should ensure that our hoods, no, or yung car hoods natin shall be maintained to ensure that yung pag ginamit mo yung recirculate or sabihin natin yung free flowing ng hangin is hindi po siya puro alikabok. Okay? So it is best, no, to provide openings or to avoid the recirculation of air during passenger transport. So ito po, no, ensure adequate ventilation if possible by opening windows by at least 3 inches, no, while in transit. Number 4 is ensure regular and proper maintenance of filters of the vehicle air conditioning units if applicable. So it is advised, no, to check all filters of the vehicles na it should be maintained and replaced as long as hindi na siya maganda, palitan na po natin siya. For railroad transport, impose a minimum of 15 seconds for the opening of doors for passengers entry and exit. So this is as part of ating railroads, no? Sa mga trains natin. And ensure that the following minimum public health standards are being followed. So wear face masks and face shields at all times. Strictly the proper frequent disinfection before and after completing routes. No? So as much as possible, we recommend po na before and after routes, we conduct disinfection by using all disinfection elements or sabihin natin mga items na pwede or meron ng inyong company. Okay. Implement 1 seat apart distance for passengers and do not allow passengers to sit beside each other. So this is to ensure that yung close contacts po is ma-minimize. Again, as much as possible, 1 meter distance. But the thing is, due to the limited space inside the vehicle, hindi po siya properly na practice. So recommendation is, syempre, to ensure that there's a distance. 1 seat to 2 seat is very good po. So ensure the following minimum public health standards are being followed. So post updated COVID information through IEC materials, avoid talking, answering phone calls, or having conversation while inside the public transport. again, no, while doing or habang nagsasalita kayo, the chances of spreading is increasing. Okay, the risk is there. The chances of spreading will be more on highly spread, no? So prohibit eating and drinking while inside the public transport as much as possible. If you can eat or drink before you take the public transport, please do so. So to ensure lang na hindi kayo nagtatanggal ng PPEs inside the vehicles, and do not allow symptomatic passengers on board. So it is best na before makapasok or before dumating sa loob ng isang vehicle ang isang tao is ma-temperature check and malaman na natin yung health status niya para ma-ensure lang na hindi symptomatic passenger ang sinasabay natin sa loob ng vehicle. Alright. For the ventilation assessment, which is Section 6 of Department Order, employer shall be responsible for maintaining an acceptable and safe indoor air quality. Okay. So the qualitative assessment of this department order is through the safety officer. Any qualified personnel may use the attached self-assessment checklist, which can be seen at Annex 1, in conducting the assessment inside the workplace. Okay, so he and she shall ensure that ventilation system is working or functioning during the conduct of assessment in order to determine how air enters and exits from the space. Now, other measures to assess this can be assessed through the following, either lingering smell. So sabihin nan kapag merong lingering smell, that even na nakabukas ang inyong ventilation equipment, then it's an indicator na hindi siya ganun ka-effective. Hindi ganun ka-effective ang ating ventilation system to dilute that workroom. Now, stuffiness of the room, so can be pwede natin siya ibangga sa stale air or sa stagnant air. Feeling of high humidity or smokiness of the room. So any of these four can be an indicator that hindi naaalis kung ano man yung elements inside the workroom. All right. For qualitative assessment, the use of natural or mechanical ventilation or the combination of both depends on the ventilation assessment to be conducted by the trained safety officer or ventilation indoor air quality specialist. Okay. So quantitative assessment for air movement, directional airflow, and objectionable air drafts shall be considered. So ano ibig sabihin na shall be considered? We should check kung ano yung flow ng hangin. At the same time, kung meron ba nagkakaroon ng objection doon sa flow niya. So this objection can provide a turbulent airflow that can hinder the exhaust or the dilution of the room. Airflow direction should be from cleaner source to prevent contamination transmission. So again, as what I have discussed earlier, from cleaner source to a less clean area. So we should maintain that the clean source yung pinagmumulan ng ating fans. Okay. For quantitative assessment, so carbon dioxide is commonly used as a surrogate indicator for assessing indoor air quality, and CO2 concentration shall not exceed the concentration of 1,000 parts per million. Okay, so this can be obtained by using a gas monitor or CO2 gas monitor. And to achieve this, the minimum ventilation in breathing zone as set by the Philippine Green Building Code can be used as a guide, which is under the section Annex 2 of this department order. So CO2 levels inside an enclosed space may be determined using a calibrated CO2 monitoring device. During the CO2 monitoring, position the device strategically in locations such as those that are far from windows, doors, and other openings. Why? Kasi baka mahinder yung pagkuha mo ng correct or accurate measurement. A calibrated CO2 monitor shall be used to ensure reliability of results. So, in terms of measuring po, or sabihin natin work environment measurement, aside from measuring it strategically, you should be trained, You should be trained to ensure that you are performing the right position, you are performing the right angle, or sabihin natin the right area wherein you will measure the CO2 levels inside our workspace. But again, due to the limitations po ng ating COVID-19 sa ating bansa, a use of calibrated CO2 monitor is already acceptable for the para sa mga companies na mag-a-avail po nito. So again, tatandaan lang po natin that all strategic locations such as those that are far from windows, doors, and other openings should be considered. Okay. Note, no, we have notes here wherein the use of indoor plants and indoor gardens will convert CO2 to oxygen. Now, indoor plants or indoor gardens again can help reduce the CO2 concentration. But with regards to COVID, no, hindi po siya gaano nakaka-affect unless CO2 po ang pinag-uusapan natin. All right. So we can refer to Annex 3 on how to determine air changes per hour, which is the formula, no, on how to compute. And for quantitative ventilation measurement shall be performed internally by a trained safety officer or EHS personnel of the company. So tandaan natin, trained, no? The DOLE OHC or by DOLE accredited WEM providers. So we have accredited WEM providers that can help you, no, to measure ventilation measurements, no, inside the workplaces. All right. So in terms of monitoring, no, for the monitoring under this department order, as provided in the DTI DOLE Joint Memorandum Circular, the OH committee and or the safety officer of the workplace overseeing the enforcement and monitoring of the minimum public health standards for COVID-19 prevention in the workplace shall include in its OH program the monitoring and evaluation of the implementation of these guidelines. Okay. At least on a monthly basis or as frequent as possible based on the assessment and recommendation by the OH committee or / the safety officer. Okay. So Annex 1 or other similar checklists may be used to ensure regular monitoring ventilation measurements, strategies are being implemented. So we are not limited only for the Annex 1, no? But with regards to kasi to DOLE, no, the possibility na hanapin nila Annex 1 will be, syempre, yun po yung pagbabasihan nila. But if you have a more stringent checklist, then okay lang po yun. Okay lang po natin gumamit tayo ng more checklist, no? This is again, the more stringent you provide safety and health, mas maganda. Okay. So the DOLE Regional Office shall monitor the compliance with its guidelines, and other government agencies shall likewise conduct its own monitoring based on their regulatory functions as applicable. And in case of violation or non-compliance, the applicable sanctions, penalties under the pertinent laws, rules, and regulations shall be imposed. So with regards to DOLE, since this is to ensure the safety and health of our company, then pwede siyang maibangga sa ating DO 198-18, which is the act of strengthening OH in establishments. Okay. So for rendering technical assistance, no, so the DOLE, the DOH, the DTI, the DPWH, the DILG, the DOTR, and the DOT, and partners in the private sector shall extend their assistance and technical support to all workplaces, employers, and workers in complying with this advisory. So we are more than willing to provide assistance po, either through technical services or through phone calls, no? Kung may makatanungan po kayo sa department order na to, we are free, no, to provide some assistance. Okay. And as you can see, this is the Annex 1 or the checklist on compliance with the advisory of workplace ventilation in the context of COVID-19. So this is just a qualitative analysis only, wherein may nahambing natin si non-air conditioned sa air conditioned workplaces. So in filling out this checklist, no, this is just a simple yes or no question, but the thing is, pwede natin siyang lagyan ng remarks. Okay? So kunyari, sa isang room, no? So ano ba to? Mga katanungan dito, is it being used per room ba or per company? Well, if you can provide it per room, why not, no? If you can provide this as per room, why not? It would be better kasi at least yung assessment mo per room will give you a greater idea, no, on how you have prevented COVID-19 inside the workplace, no? So windows are kept open or clean, no? So nandiyan yan, yes or no, or not applicable. So wala kang window pag not applicable, no? So there are no lingering smells, stuffiness or of room, no? Nandiyan din yan, yes or no. Nearby spaces of the openable windows are free from toxic gases and other pollutants. So yes or no. So just as simple as filling out as yes or no, kasi hindi naman natin kailangan gawing masyadong detalyado. This is just to ensure that you have your own profiling of your company. So with regards to air-conditioned workplace, again, this is like the non-air conditioned, but this focuses on the HVAC, air handling unit, localized air conditioning unit, and other airflows, especially the concentration level of CO2 inside the workplace. Okay. So in Annex 2, ito po, pinapakita po dito is the minimum ventilation rates in the breathing zone, wherein this was taken from the Philippine Green Building Code of DPWH. And as you can see, there have a specific ventilation rate per kind of occupancy. And this is per design of your building. Okay, so kung office space ka, you should have at least five ventilation rate, or which is CFN per person. So diyan po pumapasok yan. All right. Same with this, kunyari, conference meeting rooms, coffee rooms. So kung sakali man na well known to be an area na kung saan pupuntahan ng tao, it requires more ventilation rates. So this is kunyari for health clubs or aerobics room, na kung saan the chances of having or exhaling carbon dioxide inside the area is very high. So it requires a greater amount of ventilation rate. Okay. So Annex 3 is the formula for the air changes per hour, which is the volume flow rate in CFM multiplied by the number of operating fans. This 60 is a conversion unit from minute to hour, and the total volume per cubic feet per minute. Okay? So this is an SI or sabihin natin the SI part, or the English part, the English part of the computation. So pwede rin siyang gamitin for meter cube, for the SI units naman. Okay, so in case naman po na hindi mo alam yung volume flow rate ng iyong fans, hindi mo alam yung volume flow rate, you may use this formula, the option 2, wherein you compute the area of the fan inside the using the inside diameter, the average air velocity of the fan, the number of operating fans installed multiplied by 3,600 kasi from seconds to hour, and volume of the room. So please just to take note that CFM of the fan can be checked from its specification and operating manual. So pwede natin siyang i-check. Kapag bumibili po kayo ng fans, makikita niyo po yung specification siya, nandun po yung CFM niya. So kung hindi niyo po alam, you may use this formula, kasi merong mga nasa market, again, na nabibili rin, na hindi provided yung ating specification. So both formulas are only applicable for installed wall mount exhaust fans for local air conditioning unit and non-air conditioning air conditioned rooms or workplace. So air changes per hour is basically being computed sa ating exhaust part. Okay? So air velocity of the fan can be measured with the use of a calibrated thermometer, and air changes determination and CO2 levels may be done by the safety officer trained on ventilation or industrial hygiene. So okay, that covers all the technical aspects po of the Department Order 224-21. So I hope lahat po kayo is medyo nalinawan regarding this ating Department Order, So with that, thank you very much po for listening.
Okay, so we'll start with the open forum. Dun sa may mga katanungan, you can also type your questions in our chat box, all right? So, Engineer Raymark, are you ready?
Yes po, sige po. Go ahead, ma'am.
Okay, so let's start with the questions. And hold on. Okay. Okay, ready ha? Magandang gabi po, Engineer Raymark. Let's start with this. Aside from the structural limitations in buildings, when can a natural ventilation not be allowed?
Yes, regarding po that, so With regards to the limitation of ventilation, natural ventilation, we can check po kasi due sa mga high-rise buildings. So talagang limited po 'yan, no? If kung hindi kasi siya applicable, no? Tulad po na we should provide some mechanical ventilation as is stated po sa ating department order, and as part of ventilation, no? So in case po, no, na there would be another thing po na hindi po natin applicable ang natural ventilation is kung meron po tayong outside contaminant source, no? Kunyari meron pong usok or anything outside, hindi po siya magiging applicable. So, the best thing po na if in case hindi po magiging okay ang natural ventilation is to provide mechanical type of ventilation inside the workroom, wherein you will extract fresh air at a certain area, no, and deliver it inside the workplace. So, this is a kind of engineering control wherein you will modify, no, you will modify the area or the ventilation system to provide some fresh air entry inside the workplace.
Okay. In a small and medium scale companies, how can we be assured that an air change rate of 6 to 12 ACH is being followed? Is there a practical method to achieve a standard ACH?
All right, for 6 to 12 ACH, no. So as what was this stated sa ating department order, no. Makikita natin doon yung formula ng air changes per hour. So what we need there is a mechanical ventilation, or which is the exhaust, no, the exhaust part, wherein you may compute it, no, sa ating formula. Now the challenge here is sa ating mga small to medium scale industries is we will provide modification sa ating mga rooms, no. So upon providing modification, then that's that time we can comply with the 6 to 12, no. Kasi again, ang air changes po kasi is hindi siya nagkakaroon ng constant, or sabihin nating yung fine line, no, for air changes kung natural ventilation lang tayo aasa. Kaya to provide an accurate result, we should have mechanical ventilation or exhaust fans for the rooms, no, especially if that room will be occupied by many people, no. Kasi with regards to, again, no, as an additional information to everyone, no, it is recommended to have an outdoor air change or outdoor airflow, no, to a limit of 100% to its design. All right, so by having that, no, we will provide more accurate air changes per hour, which is 6 to 12. And yung tinasabi natin 30 minutes kasi na dapat mag-provide na hangin, or sabihin natin ventilation system shall be operated 30 minutes prior or after the work, it is computed doon sa 6 to 12 air changes na yun. Okay.
Okay. Would you have an idea or ano po na ilang taong capacity po ba yung pinag-uusapan natin, or a square meter, para at least may idea lang po kami. Kunyari sa isang room, ilang tao ba dapat? Mga ganun po.
Yun po, ma'am, is more on the occupancy load ng bawat kwarto, no. So we should maintain again, so as much as possible we maintain yung the most minimal we can, no, inside the workroom in terms of COVID-19. But in a certain degree, as part also with the fire prevention, no, meron tayong occupancy load na sinasabi, wherein this room shall be limited only for this kind of number. All right, so this is may design po yan, no. And as you can see on the minimum ventilation rate, no, do sa ating Annex 2, no, which is the minimum ventilation rate, meron pong nakalagay doon the max default occupancy density. Okay? So per ano yun, with reference to 90 square meters lang yun. So kung dadami po siya, yes, kung dadami po siya, then magi-increase din tayo ng number according do sa size ng kwarto. So yun po yung limitation natin for the number of people per room.
Okay. There was this study in China that there was one case wherein an air conditioning system may have spread the virus. How do we know if our own air conditioning system is safe or not?
Right, no. Yung regarding po dyan, ma'am, yung na instance po dun sa scenario or the incident that happened in China, ang ventilation system po kasi siya doon is hindi po maayos, no? So the thing is, according to sa report, no, yung ventilation system niya, meron siyang air conditioning unit, yes, no, but the thing is wala siyang filtration. So wala siyang filters installed. So the chances of recirculating the contaminated air inside the room or the restaurant, no, is continuous, no? So walang nagbo-block doon sa ating contaminated air. So how do we know if yung ating aircon sa loob ng offices are free or sabihin natin safe to use? Ang question na ibabalik ko po sa inyo is how frequent are you doing the maintenance? Okay? So, yun po, the maintenance program of the company is very important in reference po to prevent the spread of COVID-19.
I see. All right. Would you recommend any maintenance for it, for the air, ventilation, and the, meron po bang ganon? Dapat ba every week? Or paano po ba? In a 90 square meter, paano po ba?
Okay, good. Thank you for the good question po, ma'am, no? Regarding po dyan, for non-air-conditioned workspaces po, as indicated po sa department order natin, it should be at least conducted weekly, no?
Weekly.
But yes po, weekly. But there are some instances din po kasi na yung room is since this is kunyari, highly occupant area, no? So which is bawal naman, hindi naman siya masyado napupuntahan. Pero for highly occupant area kasi, it is better, no, to conduct maintenance or house to as much as possible, no? Kunyari every 2 days or 3. So wala po nag-limit, pero the thing is, the more frequent, the more you are confident with the ventilation system you are having right now. Okay?
All right. Thank you for that answering that question. In the healthcare facilities where aerosol generating procedures are frequent, what would be the standard ACH to lower the risk of transmission of COVID-19? Sa mga medical facilities, pwede sa aesthetic clinic, like we use magamit po kami ng mga electrocautery, may mga usok po, among others. Ano po kaya ang magandang standard na ACH para hindi po mag-transmit ang COVID-19?
For that, ma'am, as what we have studied or research, no, according sa other institutions or respectable institutions out there internationally and locally, no, they have suggested not to have an air changes of 6 to 12, no, 6 to 12. Yung 6 to 12 will be yung 6 will be the minimum and 12 is a party maximum, no. So 12 is a good air changes even for healthcare facilities, no. But we can also refer for each kind of room for healthcare facilities sa ating Philippine Mechanical Code, no? At doon nasusulat po doon na each kind of rooms per healthcare facility has specific air changes. But then again, it would be better, no? It would be better, no? Again, as more stringent, more better, more safety or more healthy ang isang area. So kung ang nire-recommend natin sa book, no, is 10, no? As much as possible, if we can provide it 12, why not? No? If we can provide it 6, why not? Okay. So 6 to 12 is the baseline for COVID-19, but it would be better if we can achieve 12. No? Kasi just to give you some information din po, having a great number of air changes will have a consequence po of energy efficiency. So yun naman yung magiging problem naman natin. Energy efficiency, at the same time, the maintenance of the equipment. Pero again, kung mas malakas naman ang ginagamit natin, mas madaming, continuously natin siya ginagamit, then the time na paglilinis natin will be more frequent din. So babangga rin siya sa ganung scenario.
Okay. Now, the Philippine COVID-19 living recommendations suggest that the use of HEPA filters as an option to improve air quality. for COVID-19 prevention and control in indoor spaces with inadequate ventilation. Now, how frequent are we going to change these HEPA filters? And what are the instances where changing of HEPA filters are required? Gaano
Okay,
kadalas ang pagpalit and ano po, kailan po yung required na siya na kailangan pinapalitan naman ang HEPA filter?
Okay, for HEPA filters po, actually meron tayong ano diyan, manufacturer's recommendation. So, meron siyang recommendation for the usage, no? Giving kasi ang mga kunyari, ang HEPA filters natin is installed in an HVAC or air purifier po, no? Having this kind of airflow, meron na po silang computed usage dyan, most commonly by 60 to 90 days or 2 to 3 months, no? So by 2 to 3 months, then it's time to palitan na siya. But the thing is, regarding COVID po, kung mas ginagamit po natin siya, continuous usage po natin siya, it would be better, no, na hindi na natin siya paubutin within the 2 to 3 months limit. As much as we can change it, then we can at least provide it as a part of our maintenance po.
All right, thank you so much. Now we are already here the part of recommendation. So any recommended specification for air purifier? Would you recommend the same inside a vehicle, particularly during rainy day?
All right, no. So regarding air purifiers, no, actually there are different kinds of air purifiers present sa market, no. And with the studies present, all of them can help naman as part na meron silang filtration doon sa loob ng air purifiers. Now, for vehicles, pwede natin siyang gamitin, no. But no further studies have been initiated po regarding the use of air purifiers sa vehicles, since not all air purifiers have can be connected sa ating mga vehicles, no? So that ang pinaka-importante lang po if you're going to buy air purifiers is it must have a filtration, or the best one is the HEPA filter. Kung may HEPA filters po tayong present, according sa kanyang specifications, no, then it is quite pwede natin siya magamit. All right.
Okay. Now, any recommended frequency of CO2 measurement at the workplace?
Okay, no. With reference po sa Rule 1077 natin, which is the Occupational Safety and Health Standard under work environment measurement, with regards to measurement, it should be conducted annually. No? But due to this pandemic scenario, measurements can be done even daily or weekly, depending on the number of persons inside the workroom. So ang pwede natin dyan magawa is, kunyari, given the workroom has 5 people only, no? Well, the chances of having the same CO2 measurement will be most likely high, no? Ang magdi-differ na lang kasi dyan is how the worker is doing his job, or his or her job, no? Kasi with regards kasi sa CO2 concentration, we are valuing also the metabolic rate ng isang tao, no? So having exerting more efforts on a certain job will require, or he or she na to exhale more carbon dioxide. So depende rin po yung pag-measure natin ng CO2 dun sa trabaho niya. Alright, but we limit it to 1,000 ppm lang, kasi yung 1,000 ppm is the sorry po, no? 1,000 ppm is the average, no? So having an outdoor air of 300, no, and additional of 700 for indoors, 1,000 ppm po yung naging value niya. Okay, so yun po yung naging kinalabasan kung bakit 1,000 ppm yung nilimit natin siya. Kasi although different parts of the Philippines has different pollutants, no, different concentrations, meron pa rin tayong makukuhang value for carbon dioxide, since we are maximizing natural ventilation.
Okay. Now, is it safe to use an air purifier with UVC air purifier inside the workplace during a normal operation.
All right.
Yung
As
PC air purifier na.
all right. With regards to UV disinfection po, no, as long as hindi po siya in direct contact with the person, hindi naman po siya gaano makaka-affect, no. But the thing is, it will always have an reaction with the air present, no. So baka hindi maging suitable or maging comfortable kayo dun sa area, no. So the thing is, dapat with using UV disinfection, hindi po dapat magkaroon ng tao. But meron po kasi mga UV disinfection na wherein it is being installed directly sa mga local air conditioning units natin, no? And that is safe to do so naman kasi wala naman siyang direct contact with the tao. So as long as yung air purifier nyo na may UV disinfection is without direct contact or direct exposure dun sa tao, is it would be safer, no, to use it, no, since it would disinfect or sanitize yung air na pinifilter niya.
Okay. So, ito po, may mga questions na medyo pang layman na po, no? So, what are the specs in procuring devices with HEPA filter? Kasi po, di ba, it is sold rampantly. Meron po tayo sa mga social media, binibenta na lang ng kung ano-ano. Meron po ba tayong standard na specs or specification when procuring a HEPA filter devices?
With regards dyan po, we will base it with the required CFM po for the air changes, no? So malaking factor po sa air changes dito. So having a 6 or 12 air changes, 6 to 12 air changes, we can compute the necessary CFM, no? So with that, it is considered na as a rule of thumb po, no? Kung ang ceiling mo is within the 3 meters, no? 2/3 po nung CFM mo can be considered as the what do you call this? The volume flow rate of the HEPA filtration, no? So yun po yung sa part as an estimate, no? But having more than 3 meters of ceiling, may formula na sinusunod po doon as per the estimation. Actually, this is just an estimation due to different variables pa rin po na kino-consider. Again, ang CFM po ang pinaka-importante with reference po sa pag-compute ng ating HEPA filtration. So, hindi po siya nalilimit sa isa, no? Baka mamaya kasi ang CFM ng isang air purifier na may HEPA filtration is around sabihin mo 300 CFM or sabihin natin 150 CFM. Ang requirement mo is 300. So most likely you will be using 2 of this kind. Okay, 2 of this kind. So the air changes is a very crucial, no? Crucial point of determining the required CFM of the HEPA filtration method. Alright, so I cannot give you the specific numbers, no, kasi kino-compute po yan, no, depende yan sa requirement or do sa volume ng room. Another thing is the volume of room. Mas malaki, edi mas maraming airflow ang kailangan mo, mas maraming chances or mas malaking requirement mo. Alright, so yun po. To give you an estimate na, 2/3 po ng CFM requirement is yung pwede mong i-assume na ma-cover up niya yung buong kwarto nyo. Okay.
Okay. Pag cover up ng kwarto, nandun na rin lang po tayo. Saan po ba siya dapat pinipwesto? Let's say sa bahay, for example, or sa office, or sa clinic, restaurant, or in a room in a company. Sa tapat po ba ng aircon, sa pinto, yun ang natin. Paano po ba siya dapat pinipwesto?
Alright. As much as possible, we should place yung ating mga filtration devices away from the natural sources. Why? Kasi most likely yun yung ma-cover up niya eh. So ang aim natin dito is to cover up yung contaminated area, which is to ensure that distributed air is clean, no? So makakatulong lang yung natural ventilation natin sa isang area to push some air, no? Pero kung saan ba siya dapat ipwesto, any part of the room, as long as hindi po siya natatakpan ng mga curtains or hindi siya nagkakaroon ng hindrance sa pag-deliver ng kanyang airflow, it is okay, no? But it would be advisable na ipwesto mo siya on where it is less cleaner side sa isang kwarto, kasi mas mabilis ang maintenance procedure mo kapag nilagay mo siya dun wherein nandun yung natural ventilation, di ba? Kasi sasuctionin nila lahat yan. Okay? So,
So
yun po
for
yung sagot ko, ma'am.
example po, sa pinto, ganun po ba yun? To understand the concept of it? Or sa
It would be,
aircon mo?
wag po natin siya pwesto sa may pinto. No? It would be better sa center of the room or any area within high occupancy, or kung saan po madalas nagdudwell ang mga tao or pupunta yung mga tao, doon po mas better.
Alright, thank you so much, no, sa answer. Now, how can we know if the indoor air quality is safe from the virus? Is there a method or ways to measure or determine it?
Right. How do we know if the indoor air quality is safe? No, so with regards to COVID, no, one way of determining how if the area is safe is through the CO2 measurement. No, if the concentration is not high, then we can assume that the exhalation rate ng mga tao is hindi ganun kataas. So the chances are either makonti yung tao doon, na-maintain yung distancing, na-maintain yung dilution ventilation. Another thing is, with regards to indoor air quality kasi, temperature and humidity has a factor. Alright? So, temperature of 20 to 24 is a good basis, no, in reference to the Philippine Mechanical Code. But humidity is a very, the thing that is very hard to control, humidity. Since it affects weather, no? So weather, at the same time, the moisture content ng hangin. So with regards to relative humidity kasi, it is best not to have a 50 to 60% of relative humidity. No? With that po kasi, yung ating viral or yung virus natin will na slightly, no? Actually, wala pong with regards to the variables of the virus, hindi po talaga siya up to this very moment, hindi po talaga siya ma-classify, no, with regards to certain properties, no? Kaya ang mga sinasabi according sa studies is we can somehow reduce the production or the spreading of virus having 20 to 40 degrees Celsius of temperature inside the enclosed workspace, no, and 50 to 60% of relative humidity. Kasi at 50 to 60%, that is where viruses or biological hazards are minimal. So yun po yung normal relative humidity for human occupancy.
All right, thank you so much. Now, some patients have personal mini fans dangling next to their ionizers. Is this advisable? Yung mga nasa ionizer nila, dangling fans. Advisable po ba yun?
With regards to ionizers po, we cannot claim, no? Actually, I cannot also claim that they provide, no? They provide reduction of viruses, no? What they can do is somehow protect you from other sources, no? But yung paglagay po ng fans, no, sa isang workroom is highly discouraged unless, no, unless it is an area wherein hindi po siya madidistributan ng natural or mechanical type, no? But the thing is, hindi siya dapat indirect sa tao na pwede siyang makapag-spread ng aerosols or other forms of virus spreading.
Okay. Where does this laminar airflow come into play with regards to COVID-19 prevention and control? Laminar airflow. Laminar airflow comes into play with regards to the COVID-19 prevention control. Yung laminar flow lang po ng hangin, parang one direction daw po.
Yes, no, regards sa laminar flow, as studies shows, no, as studies shows, having a laminar flow of air is more efficient, no? It can more be efficient in terms of dilution. So kasi pag turbulent ang flow mo, there are instances of objectionable drops, no? So hindi siya yung magiging fluid or sabihin nating smooth, no? Kasi having a laminar flow is the smoothness ng flow ng isang fluid. So
Yes.
that's so kung smooth ang transition ng dilution mo, which is the laminar flow of exhaust, at the same time, yung ating HEPA filtration can help also, no, to increase the chances of reduction of risk, no. So yun po yung pwede nating masabi for laminar flow of air.
Thank you. Meron na lang tayong konting katanungan, Engineer Raymark, Fernando. So ito po, regarding smoking areas, no, in the workplaces. Are establishment mandated to either place a smoking booth as per DTI DOLE GMC or ban the smoking entirely? Kasi may mga booths sila and I'm not sure how they are well ventilated or are they given a HEPA filter inside of it? So paano naman po ang mga
Well, as
smoking
much as
areas?
possible, no, smoking is should be prevented, no? Kasi again, this is a respiratory illness, so as much as possible, iwasan na natin smoking. No, but if kung merong smoking area po, isa sa mga nabasa ko po sa ating sa mga literatures po, no, that it should have kumbaga a solo, no, solo area wherein siya lang yun nandun, no. So kung kailangan ng filters, I'm not very sure kasi hindi po siya na indicate, but the thing is as much as possible hindi po dapat nag-accumulate yung smoke inside a room, no? So dapat exhausted siya kagad kung talagang may smoking na ginagawa. Pero it is best, no? It is best na itigil na po natin smoking, no? Kasi again, studies shows also, no, na people who smoke is more prone to COVID-19. So yun po yung ating binabantayan din.
Okay, there are last few questions na lang po, no? Engineer, okay pa po? Dalawa na lang ito. In this pandemic time, sabi niya, is eating inside an enclosed spaces, like inside a restaurant or even inside an airplane, okay lang po ba daw yun? Enclosed, sobrang vacuum mga airplane, for example. Pwede po ba kumain?
Well, in reference po do sa DOTR guidelines po, no, as much as possible we recommend po na iwasan po muna yung ating pag-take ng eating or calling or talking inside the enclosed workspace, no, kasi again yung risk po na binababa yung mask or the protection natin inside the enclosed space is tataas. Okay, so yun po ang aking take regarding po sa question na yan.
Okay, thank you. Ito ipagsasama ko na po. Paki-confirm daw po, engineer, please confirm that DOLE's minimum requirement for ventilation assessment is the use of Annex 1 form. Computation measurement of air change rate is not mandatory for general workstation. Yun po ba yun? And then if meron daw kasi silang company rin na nagpa-plan po na mag-WEM, no? Work environment measurement. Do you have any additional recommended parameters putting COVID-19 in consideration? Would you recommend determining the CO2 levels?
With regards to the department order po, no? So madali ko kasi masasagot yung second question, no? So
Yes.
With regards to the department order, it is best na magkaroon ka ng CO2 measurement. Okay? Kasi with this, malalaman mo yung condition mo sa isang kwarto, no? So, as much as possible, no, kung kaya nyo makapag-provide internally, why not? Kasi at least hindi na kayo magkakaroon ng maghihintay, no, sa ating mga providers. Given the busy rin po ang ating mga providers in providing technical services, no? But if you can avail, then why not, no? At least from there, makikita natin, no? Makikita natin na yung concentration. But another thing is, aside from the CO2 measurement, no, we can check yung ating air changes, no? And if kung non-air condition kasi siya, it would be better kung ma-check din natin yung air movement, no? So for air condition kasi is not totally advisable ang air movement due to the parameter of temperature sa isang kwarto. All right? So air movement is one factor na pwede natin i-check for non-air conditioned area. And if I may, ano po ulit yung isang question, sorry po. Forgot.
Okay. Yung isang question po daw, the second question is they're planning to do a WEM in their company. So would you recommend or do you have any recommendations in regards to the additional determination of the CO2 levels or any parameters po to consider consider for COVID-19 po? Kasi mag-ano sila, work environment measurement.
Yes, opo. Actually, yan yung po yung nasagot ko. Yung una po dyan is naalala ko na. Kung required po ba ng DOLE yung checklist ng Annex 1?
Yes.
I cannot say, no. Actually, I'm not an inspector po, no. But as part of the department order, no, it is best that you can comply with the Annex 1, no. Kasi with that po, no, pwede kasi siyang maibangga sa DO 198. So kung hindi kasi siya nagiging I mean, kung hindi po kayo nagkaroon ng corrective measures with regards to COVID-19, then you're providing risk sa inyong company, no? You're increasing the risk inside your company. So it would be best, no, kung pwede po nating i-confirm mismo to sa ating field office or sa ating regional office para at least mas malinaw, no? Again, ayoko pong ituldukan yung topic na to kasi hindi po siya in line with our work, no? But ang aking pong masasabi is you must somehow comply with the annexes, no, na provided doon sa ating department order.
Ano pa ang aking last question pagsamahin ko din. Is there any evidence on the small air purifiers people hang around their necks and something to do with the ion daw, with the ozone and ion? Okay pa po daw yun.
Yes, with regards to the ano po, doon sa mga
may
personal
air
purifiers po.
And then kung meron daw bearing yung negative ions and pag-ozone ng air.
All right. Actually, with regards diyan, ozone po is a bad po, no? Kasi hindi ko naman sinabi a bad element po, no? Kasi ozone can help cleanse, no? Somehow. But the thing is, hindi po kasi dapat siya for once na meron pong ozone, it can affect yung tao with other health related issues, no? So ozone is a bad factor po in reference to exposure sa tao. So hindi po siya dapat na-expose ang tao. Now, with regards to the personal air purifiers, I cannot claim po, no? I cannot claim that they can resist, no, COVID-19 viruses, no? But somehow they can provide this mechanism wherein yung mga tao is a bit of I mean, how can I say this? Na protected sila in other forms of biological hazards, no? So I cannot I mean yung confirm the effectiveness of these air purifiers, no? So yun lang po ang masasabi ko po with regards to your question po.
Well, ito na, ubos na natin ang ating mga tanong. Kung meron pa silang mga ibang katanungan, Engineer Fernando, where can they reach you? Meron po ba tayong email or ano po, any social media platforms that they can write their questions and their queries regarding tonight's topic?
With regards po for any questions po, again, you may contact us sa Occupational Safety and Health Center po, no? And we can assist you regarding your inquiries, no? So you may visit our website po and nandun po yung numbers namin, especially with the Environment Control Division, no? ECD or the Environment Control Division. But meron din po kaming email address doon. So you may email us also with regard to your concern, and we will try to answer it with the best of our knowledge. No? Kasi again, disclaimer lang po, ito pong si COVID-19, meron tayo na po provide na recommendations. But still, this is a very, may variables pa rin po tayo na hindi natin siya totally nako-control kasi nga, the spread is still there no? So may variables pa rin tayo na hindi nako-control. Kaya the thing is, meron as we go along with this pandemic, no, meron pa tayong mai-increase na or mabibigay na recommendations regarding the prevention and control of COVID-19.
Thank you so much, Engineer Fernando. No? And
Alright.
thank you, QCC, Virtual Kapihang team. Excellent job to everyone. If we may, no, Engineer, no, we would have our traditional photo opportunity. No? Pwede po ba, no, to our honorable guests, papabuksan po muna namin itong mga kanilang cameras para makapag-picture po tayo ng sabay-sabay. Would that be all right, Engineer Fernando?
Go ahead, ma'am. I would like to take this
Thank
opportunity
you.
also.
Thank you. So for everyone, kindly open your cameras, no, so that we will be having a photo with our distinguished speaker tonight, with Engineer Raymark Fernando of OSHC. Ayan, naka-open na po. Maraming salamat din sa aming technical head on PCOM QCC for the photo op.
Go ahead po, ma'am. Go ahead po.
Okay. Dr. Taylor, take it away.
Okay, please open all of your videos and smile. First group, ready? 1, 2, 3. Okay, that's good. Next group. Okay, ready? 1, 2, 3. Okay. And finally, last group. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Okay, all done. Thank you so much. Take it away,
Thank
Dr.
you. Maraming salamat sa mga nag-participate ngayong gabing ito. Thank you, Dr. Taylor. Marami kaming natutunan, Engineer Raymark Fernando, no? To formally end tonight's educational activity, ladies and gentlemen, our chapter Vice President, Dr. Jeremiah Martin Ferrante.
Thank you, Dr. Koo. Okay. Ventilation plays a crucial role in the prevention and control of the transmission of coronavirus disease 2019. This is apart from the proper and constant usage of face masks and face shields, following physical distancing protocol, and frequent hand washing using soap and water. With the information you have learned tonight, I hope you will be able to impart this to your colleagues at work and implement proper ventilation measures in your respective workplaces. In behalf of the Quezon City chapter of the Philippine College of Occupational Medicine, I would like to thank Engineer Raymark Fernando for sharing his expertise in the subject matter. Likewise, our deepest gratitude to our friends in the Occupational Safety and Health Advocacy who are here tonight in this educational activity. To the consultants, practitioners, safety officers, company physicians, HR person, special mention also to my colleagues from the Occupational Safety and Health Center. Parang full force ata tayo dito ngayon. Lalo na sa Environment Control Division. Allow me to acknowledge as well the following groups and or individuals who made this Kapihan a success. The national officers and board of directors led by Dr. Phil Pangilinan. To the chapter officers and board of directors of the Quezon City chapter, including its members. The officers and members of the other chapters of PCOM. To the past presidents of the national and the Quezon City chapter. And to the men and women behind the 27th Kapihang OH. To all of you, we are greatly honored of your active participation. Moreover, I would like to announce to everyone that tonight, after this Kapihan, is the premiere night of the 26th Kapihang OH on the second part of the Usaping Bakuna kontra COVID-19 with the FDA Philippines Director General, Dr. Rolando Enrique Domingo. So please do not forget to subscribe, like, share, and click the notification bell of our official YouTube channel for you to be refreshed on our previous Kapihans. Snippets of our Kapihans are also available in our YouTube channel as OH in a Flash for easy reference. You may want to follow and like also our Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram accounts for more updates. Should you have queries or any suggestions for topics, please send us an email at PCOM@gmail.com. Again, thank you very much for your participation. Always remember that in Quezon City chapter of PCOM, we value your safety and health. Hashtag PCOM QCC cares. Magandang gabi sa inyong lahat. Ingat.
Thank you. Maraming salamat po sa mga lahat na dumalo ngayong gabing ito. Sa susunod na 28, Kapihang OH, ako po si Dr. Margo Venus de Salyacu, na parating nagpapaalala na sa Quezon City chapter, ang inyong kaligtasan at kalusugan ay mahalaga. Hashtag PCOM QCC cares. Good night everyone and stay safe and healthy.